But anyways, let's move on now into our first topic. We're talking about LeBron James to Golden State coming out about 19 hours ago. I just want to make sure Chris Haynes of ESPN reported saying James would consider meeting with the Golden State Warriors in the offseason if they were able to create a max salary slot. Obviously, Ricky and Dave with us. We have Jake joining us as well. If you're just tuning in on YouTube, what's up, everybody? Also, don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostavailable podcast. This is how you can be on a podcast like Jake is right now. And Jake, let's just jump right into it. Will Golden State and LeBron James be able to come up with a contract agreement during the offseason? Will LeBron James be donning the blue and gold of Golden State?
Do I want it to happen? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. I still think he's going to Houston. But just the idea of a starting lineup with LeBron, KD, Curry, Draymond all complimenting Zaza, it would just be great. No, but in all honesty, I think it'd be great to see. Do I think it happens? No. Even Kevin Durant came out and called the report bull today. So I don't think it'll happen, but I think it would be amazing if it did.
Well, and one thing I want to bring up to you just before we go to Ricky and Dave is, why do you want it to happen if you're a Sixers fan? Wouldn't you want them coming to Philly?
No, we're winning the East. Without LeBron there.
Yeah, but also you're not going to be winning the finals.
Yeah, we're not going to win the finals anyways. Nobody's beating the Warriors as they are.
Well, Dave, let's go to you first. Is it possible that LeBron's going to be... Are you going to Wilbon us and just shut us down, or do you think that there's a possibility, even if it's 0.05% chance that this is going to happen?
No, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that they're even talking about this as a thing, and I think I agree with Wilbon. Like, if you watch his take on PTI, basically it's LeBron is probably having someone do this to get in the head of Gilbert because of the situation in Cleveland. It's just... It's a game right now, and that's all it is. It's just a power play, and it's just tossing out something to be like, you know what? I wouldn't pass up going to Golden State just because. And that's scary as fuck to the rest of the league because you're looking at one team, and it's going to have all of the top talent in the league, and it's just there's no competitive nature left in basketball at that point. So, yeah, I just think it's ridiculous.
Ricky, I've been waiting to hear your hot take.
I mean, I'm on the side of, like, Dave said something that I was thinking, but I'm not like a guy that's like, oh, shut it down. I think there's like, although it's not going to happen, this thing has a little bit of life.
Where there's smoke, there's fire?
Never say never. Yep. Kevin Durant, how many people are like, oh, he's going to go to the Warriors? No, we didn't think that. So, I mean, yes, right now.
We did do a topic on
We
it.
did.
Yeah.
But all of us, I believe in that, said I said he's going back to the Thunder. I didn't think he was going to go to the Warriors. But this is this LeBron basically saying, hey, Cleveland, we got a week left. You either do something now or I'm leaving. Oh, and the Warriors, don't even think they're out of the question because I could go literally anywhere. That's what that tells me because if he's willing to go to the Warriors, maybe he goes to another team just to leave Cleveland. Now, does he do that? No. Another good point that I heard brought up that's interesting is just by him saying, oh, I would take a max deal from the Warriors. Then if he does go to the Rockets, it doesn't look as bad because he already threw out the Warriors as setting the bar that high.
So basically anything other than the Warriors still looks good. He keeps pace.
Yeah. That's exactly it because like then he doesn't look bad for leaving Cleveland because it's like, well, you know what? I won you a championship, and at least I didn't leave for the Warriors like I said I was going to. At least that didn't happen.
Unless the Rockets win a championship this year.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think we're pretty sure, maybe 75% chance the Warriors are winning the NBA Finals, and the 25% chance is like injuries happen.
I'm just saying that would be the only way it would look worse for him is if the Rockets won it and he went there after.
Well, I think one thing, at least with this whole thing, is I think I agree with that. There's smoke, there's fire, but I don't know if it's like that. LeBron's going to Golden State. I mean, would he be interested in playing for Golden State? Hell yeah. Playing with Steph Curry and his buddy KD, why wouldn't he be interested in that? He's going to play out west, a place that he wants to play. He's home and he could start his business and really be on the ground out in LA. I know it's in the Bay Area, but it's close enough. I mean, it's not Cleveland to LA.
Well, with the Bay Area, he would be closer to Silicon Valley. And that's where he'd be able to get his hand in on some of those businesses because he'd be closer to that because that's really where the Bay Area is closer to.
Okay.
No, it is.
All right. already.
Well, like I thought he was more going for moving. Like, does he really care about tech right now?
He could go either way.
He was caring
He
more.
could go either way because like Silicon Valley has been like all the reports have been saying like if he does go to the Bay Area, that could be something that benefits him.
Talking tech here on the Fast Break podcast.
Well, it's moolah. It's all about the money.
Well, and I was agreeing the fact that like again when we talked about KD to the Warriors, we laughed about it here on this podcast, and it happened.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I don't want to do is laugh that this is a thing, but it is utterly ridiculous.
Here's the thing, and Jake, I want to ask you this because before we started recording, you kind of said something that surprised me. On the Warriors side, I don't know if I would want to do this because what I'm looking at, and there's two sign and trade possibilities that I'm looking at. If you want to sign him long term, you have to include Livingston in the deal. But the one I'm looking at is basically it's LeBron opts into his player option. Then it's a sign and trade where the Warriors would send Thompson, Iggy, and draft considerations to the Cavs for LeBron. Then LeBron would have he'd be eligible to sign a 3-year extension in January, 6 months after the trade was completed. If I'm the Warriors, would I want to give up Klay Thompson? I know it's LeBron James, but would I want to give up Klay Thompson because you're already the best team in the league? You don't need LeBron James. It'd be the rich getting richer, which I get why you want to do that, but do you need to do that?
I mean, it's totally outrageous and it makes no sense, but I'm all for it. I mean, Iggy's 34, Sean Livingston's 32, so they're not really an issue with giving up. The whole thing is, do you want to give up Klay? And I think, honestly, I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago before this happened. Klay Thompson's contract is up in a couple of years, and I already think that he was going to consider leaving because he could play a bigger role in another team. Because he's going to have probably 3-4 rings by the time he contract's up.
We're just going to start counting rings now. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I would also like to say that on February 2nd, 2016 was the first report of Kevin Durant coming out that he could go to the Warriors, and today's February 1st, 2018. I don't know, Illuminati, but I'm just saying, I just don't laugh at it. I don't think it'll happen. I don't, but
I don't want it to happen.
I want it to. I'm with Jake. I want it to happen.
You guys both want it. Sean, how do you feel? Do you want it to happen or not?
I don't know. This is scary. I mean, like the thing is though is if they lose Klay, if this was a lineup of Curry, Klay, Durant, Green, and LeBron James, then this is totally screwed. But again, this is one thing where you're losing Klay, and I'm not saying like, oh, this team's significantly worse with LeBron James over Klay Thompson, but like again, you have 3 huge egos on that team, and again, people might say, well, they made it work with KD, but KD's a quiet guy, and now you're gonna have LeBron, who we've seen take over both Miami and Cleveland. Didn't really take over Cleveland, more didn't really take over Miami, more of Cleveland. Yeah. But this is a guy that really dominates wherever he is. And now these are guys in Curry and KD who are both trying to build their brands, trying to build up their whole aura in the shoe game and then also just in basketball in general. And you're playing with LeBron. I mean, it's something where if you have Clay's a great all-time shooter. But right now, Curry and Durant are still fighting for who's number one, and there's really not a clear number one. I mean, some people will say Curry's MVP right now, but still, last year KD was the guy in the finals and the playoffs. So right now, there's not really that battle for number one, and now with LeBron throwing in there, that's too many guys that I think is just being put in there. I think the team's better.
I don't
think
that at all, and the reason why I don't is the best LeBron that I have seen, and I'm going to say the way I'm going to phrase this is going to come off wrong, but I'm going to phrase it like this for a reason. When LeBron had a coach that basically put him in his place, where you think about the coaches that he had
a GM who put him in that place.
That
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley and
Spoelstra
stuck up for himself and took a stand, though.
Spo almost got fired after 11 games.
I know, but Spo then said, this is my team. That's the turning point we saw. We would have never seen the Spoels that we see today without that moment. You look at him with Ty Lue. Ty Lue's a fucking babysitter out there in Cleveland. Like, David Black got fired. Ty Lue's getting stepped over by LeBron each and every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day if you count it. Yep. Steve Kerr ain't getting stepped over. Steve Kerr is standing up, but I don't think he'd have to.
He's not really standing up because he's not on the bench every night.
Hold on, but one thing too.
LeBron wouldn't have to. The ego thing I don't really look at because as long as they're winning, LeBron's not going to care. But if they're winning, they're fine. The reason why there's an ego is because Cleveland's not winning like they did.
Let's bring in this. That's not true. I mean, LeBron has this ego because it's LeBron James. He's been told since 2004, 2005.
I know
he's the best basketball player in the world.
But it's better when you're winning than you're losing.
Of course. But the whole thing is, even look at right now, the whole thing with the Patriots. Again, I'm throwing this out there. I'm not buying into it. But let's just use it because most of America believes it. And I can see where it's coming from. It's the whole thing of the ego of Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady are battling of who deserves more credit for the dynasty. That's something that is coming through. They've won for 18 years straight. They have been the most dominant dynasty in my lifetime and probably in all of sports. Over the past 18 years, they have dominated the AFC. That is something that comes into factor, is who is making this team win? Is it LeBron? Is it Curry? Is it Durant? And it's not going to be all three. You can't say all three. One of those guys, especially with the way that they've been brought up throughout their career, cough, cough, LeBron, is going to be told that he's the greatest. That's the one thing that you brought up when we came in, Ricky, is the fact that what has Michael Jordan never done that LeBron's trying to do? Win all 82 games.
Well, and that's, I was going to say, if he goes to Golden State, that's the one reason why I would go there. If you want to top Michael, win every game, even the playoffs.
100%.
Just win right all the way through.
What do you think about that, Jake?
It's funny. I saw somebody on Twitter today. It was some big YouTube personality. He said, if LeBron really wants to beat Jordan, everybody says he's not past Jordan because the rings. If he goes to Golden State, he's going to get the rings. And then what are they going to say after that? I mean, there's a lot of
he's lost in the finals, so there's that.
I don't like
that. That's always going to be the answer for Ricky.
So if LeBron goes and wins, let's say 4 titles out in Golden State, would he be the GOAT?
No, he's not perfect. But if he wins all 82 games, then we've got a
so if he gets 7 titles more than Jordan?
No, I would still put Jordan because Jordan's perfect, and Jordan would have had 8 if he didn't go to baseball.
What were you saying, Jake?
So, I don't get the undefeated thing, because what if one guy goes wins 2 titles, so he's 2-0? So I think the whole GOAT conversation for me is, I think Jordan is the GOAT, but I think LeBron is the best basketball player I've ever seen. That's just how I look at it.
I think there's a fair compromise in that statement, to be honest.
I can respect what Jake just said. I can agree with that.
Well, that's my thing with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. The most talented quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. Get out of here with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is an inflated offense where they throw the ball 30 yards down the field every single year.
This is basketball.
Yeah, he's also behind every single game by 30. So Tom Brady's not throwing the ball as much.
The one thing I want to bring up, bringing in the Tom Brady thing that you did and kind of related to this, is the thing that you mentioned with the egos with the Patriots. And I heard it put perfectly today. Not egos. Think of it this way. The problem is that Robert Kraft is a guy who he's emotional, where it's like, don't bash Tom. Tom's my boy. I have a connection. Belichick is not emotional. He will just detach all emotions from you because he knows I might have to cut you someday. And I'm going to do what's best for the team and not best for you.
To the Warriors?
I'm bringing it in here.
Just making sure.
When I look at the Warriors, there are some moments like Draymond gets a little emotional. That's why he gets the text. That's why he got thrown out of that finals. But
he's
as a
nut hunting.
No, I know. But as a complete unit, I mean, the Warriors aren't Spurs level of no emotions. But besides these little flare-ups, I don't see them as an entire team being super emotional. They know, do the business. This is the job. Come and do it right. Play like this, we'll win a championship.
I think there's a different level of emotion, though. It's
controlled.
It's controlled, and it's not aggressive at each other. It's a different way to do it, because KD's gotten thrown out of a couple of games this year. He's actually gotten a ton of.
That's KD against the refs.
You're a ton.
Yeah, he's got a ton of flagrants. It's just kind of ridiculous. But I think it's more that as a team, you don't see the conflict within them. It's more them fighting outside versus. We're looking at this Cavs team and all the internal fighting and the amount that's visible to us, and then you start asking yourself, how much more is there going on? How much of the picture are we even seeing that what's coming out looks bad?
The iceberg effect.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what's going on behind that closed door for the rest of the day? So I agree, but it's still,
It's not an exact carbon copy, but that's what I would think of. Even if LeBron has an ego and comes in, it's if I'm going to sign you, you have to realize you're coming into this team, and we're not going to throw everything away just to have LeBron on this team. That's the only thing of where the Warrior side of, I get it's LeBron James. You want the best player on your team, but in the end, do we really want LeBron on our team? Do we really need LeBron on our team? It comes back to that question.
You don't really need LeBron.
Yeah.
If you're already the best team in the NBA, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't get
Jake
him,
humming and hawing over there, I hear it.
But then if you don't take him, you risk him going to Houston. Harden, CP3, and LeBron, that would be a threat. I would count them as a threat. I don't see any threat to the Warriors right now. But if LeBron would go to the Rockets, I would count them as a threat. So I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to. So let's talk about that, because then if they get rid of Klay Thompson and bring in LeBron James, it's clear. I mean, unless Klay goes to Houston, it's clear that no one's touching. No one's touching Golden
for
State
2 years.
He can't. He'd go to the Cavs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Okay. So my bad. I forgot. Because it would be the sign and trade, unless they. Yeah. Okay. So pretty much no one's touching the Golden State. But if he ends up going to Houston, you have the big four out in Golden State: Curry, Durant, Klay, and Draymond, and then you have the big three out in Houston: CP3, Harden, and LeBron James. You're saying that team could beat the Warriors, Jake?
I'm saying they would have a chance. I'm not saying they would beat them, but I'm saying LeBron. I just want to see LeBron and Harden together. That would be something to watch. That would be incredible. I also think that team would draw free agents, like veteran free agents.
Yeah.
I think Lou Will might even want to go play for them. Just throwing out names again.
Yeah,
but
that's a ring chaser dream right there.
Yeah, and David West might go there, get another ring. I just think there's so many. I mean, I think LeBron to San Antonio would make them a threat. I think he needs to leave the East. That's the whole thing with me with LeBron. He needs to leave the East.
Do you want him to leave the East because you're sick of him in the East and you want the 76ers to win the East? Is this just personal motives, Jake?
We haven't really even had a chance to beat him yet.
That's true.
I don't even. It's the Cavs. He just needs. First of all, he needs to get away from the Cavs. But if he leaves the Cavs, he needs to get out of the East.
Well, let's talk about the Rockets. If LeBron goes to the Rockets, is he a threat to Golden State? And is he a team that could actually beat him?
I'm already saying the Rockets are a threat to Golden State this year. So adding LeBron, yes, absolutely. They're an even more dangerous team. I mean, the question is how the dynamic changes with LeBron, his ball handling, and the system they're rolling with right now. Him taking mid-range jumpers just won't fly. So if he changes his game, and I'm sure he will because he's an amazing player, he's going to adapt, he's going to be more efficient, and the team is going to have an even better chance of doing it. It's the question of what role players are they going to lose out on who aren't going to take smaller contracts, like Eric Gordon, Trev Reza, PJ. Like they've got a great wing core right now, but you don't pass up on LeBron James is the problem.
Well, and how much does it move the needle? Does it move them from where's the needle right now? What percentage would you give the Rockets right now?
Right now, I'd probably give them like a 40% chance in a series. Yeah.
And what was that, Jake? That was a little bit of a woo.
Was that a woo?
What would you get? What would you give the Rockets right now?
Wait, you're saying you give the Rockets a 40% chance to beat the Warriors?
Yeah,
right
series,
now. Right now, you're saying. What would you give them?
20% at most. I'm just telling you. If the Warriors stay healthy, nobody beats them. I just don't see it, and I don't even think the only way they lose is injuries. And even with injuries, like if KD goes down, they don't win the finals, but they still can win the West.
And they proved that before too.
Yeah, no, they're the best team. That's the thing. I'm not arguing with that, but I just think that there's something special matchup wise. And as far as having CP3 and Harden and the wing depth they have and the offense they have, I just think if there's any team that can match them, Houston's the team this year. So that's why I'm giving them the best chance.
I want to throw this out because you mentioned, I got this thought when Jake mentioned injuries. Looking between the teams, of course, the Warriors have had injury problems. The one I look at is Curry has had injury problems, especially missing, he missed the whole first round last year or 2 years in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, and then KD missed, only played 26 games or whatever.
Here's the thing I'd look at between the teams if LeBron seriously wants to go to the Warriors. If I go to the Rockets, and either James Harden, really CP3 is the question mark for me because he's had more injuries than Harden, I believe. If one of those two goes down, how do we look? But if I go to the Warriors, if Curry goes down, it's me, Durant, and Green. Well, we're still in good shape. We're still in pretty good shape.
I don't think anyone's arguing the fact that the Warriors have a better lineup, and you'll be in better shape if anyone has an injury. It's just more the fact that Houston is more likely just because of their cap salary.
And the thing that I also go into that makes it a little viable for me where it's smoke, there's fire, is the big thing we talk about LeBron is, in the regular season, getting your rest so that you're better for the playoffs. Well, right now in Cleveland, it's, I got to save this sinking ship. I got to play a little bit more. Where in Golden State, he could take off games here and there, and really it wouldn't be like they could all do that. And then in the playoffs, it's like, oh, dear God, they're all rested, and it's on God mode.
So let's put a number on this. Jake, what percentage would you give LeBron going to Golden State? Will it happen, and what percentage are you putting it on?
I mean, he's going to Philly, so I'm putting that like a 10% chance.
10% chance for LeBron going to Golden State. Still pretty high. 10%.
That's relatively high.
10% ability. Dave, what ability, what percentage, what chance are you putting on LeBron going to Golden State?
0.0001.
Okay.
I'll give
so
you
it's like hand sanitizer effective.
Yeah.
Or like that's whatever hand sanitizer doesn't kill. That's what LeBron going to Golden State is.
You nailed it.
Ricky, what
I'm
percentage?
going to cut Jake in half. I'll go 5%.
Okay. I know that there's always a chance of something happening. So I'll go with Dave along the line of thinking I will go 0.01% of it happening.
Can I throw out one more question? And this is coming
course,
from the
Ricky.
herd. After he gave his percentages, he threw out another one that it's not going to happen, but I think it's interesting, is he goes, and then I'm throwing out a 5% chance LeBron goes, I'm going to take a sabbatical, take a year off, and semi-retire.
Yeah, zero.
Totally. Yeah, totally going to happen.
0% chance because LeBron's most competitive.
Did he get that
man.
from his NBA scouts? Because he totally watches
I have no
the NBA.
idea. I just thought it was an interesting take, is all I'm saying.
Jake,
The first half of basketball he watches.
Yeah, do you think LeBron's going to take a sabbatical, look for a new job?
Wouldn't have to look for a new job.
Well, I mean, that's what people do on sabbaticals. They go look for a new job.
Exactly.
I mean, Jordan did it. He went to go play baseball.
LeBron could go play football. Go to the Patriots for a year.
Going to Cleveland. That's
get a ring.
That's their new QB. All right, that is going to wrap up the LeBron to Golden State talk. Jake, we want to thank you for coming on, bud.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.